Yo, what it do, virtual hoopers? This your boy Drew King the Boss, and we got a lot to talk about when it comes down to NBA 2K21. And in my last video, I talked about the gameplay blog number 3, focusing on the MyPLAYER Builder, and I brought up some interesting questions that weren't answered completely in that video, but I had maybe some semblance of what that could possibly mean. I talked about how they didn't show what position you were playing, like you just assumed that you were playing shooting guard because it was a 6'5" build that they showed in that MyPLAYER Builder sample. But I was recently on Twitter and I came across a screenshot on my timeline. So shout out to the NBA 2K China Pro-Am League account. Go follow that joint on Twitter. If you're not following accounts like 2K Insider, 2K Intel, they usually do a really great job at putting all the information in nice little bite-sized nuggets, so that way you can easily see like the key takeaways from all the blogs. If you don't want to do the heavy reading and you don't want to wait for a video, they usually drop really good pieces of information all in one spot, and they kind of give it to you in bite-sized chunks. So make sure you go follow those accounts to keep yourself informed as to what's going on, even sometimes before 2K tells us. But I wanted to go over this image that I came across. As you can see, we see a build on screen in the MyPLAYER Builder. Now, this screen comes before you apply the attributes to your build. So I don't want you to look at this and think that, man, that's an OP build. No, those are the possible caps for each of those attributes for this build. Now, first of all, I want to look at the build's setup. The build is a 6'8", 225 pound with a 7'1" wingspan. And it's got a built body shape. Now, I'm not certain that the built body shape will have a little more to do with it this year. It could just be, just like all other years, an aesthetic thing. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. I just really wanted to focus on a couple of key factors. Okay, so you know that the next screen that you'll see after this one, of course, if you've seen the video of the MyPLAYER Builder sample, is the screen where you apply your attributes. All right. Now, the reason why this screenshot was extremely important, and I really wanted to talk about this screenshot in particular, because that means that there's only possibly one screen before it. Okay, and that would be the screen where you input your name and maybe where you're from, small vitals. Okay, position, or no, not position, but maybe just name, number. But there's something I want to talk about that, and I'll wait to the end of the video because I really want to focus on all the information that I got right off of this image right here. So if this is the second screen, and the third screen is where you apply your attribute points, right? You apply what you want to cap each of these skills at. Then this begs a really interesting question. Like, first of all, 6'8" builds at small forward are going to be great once again, because let's say, for instance, you take this build for example. This build can have a 90 mid-range shot, an 87 3-point shot, 94 free throw shot. Now, the reason why I mentioned those three first was because I know a lot of you are shooters, and a lot of you like to create bigger builds that can shoot. Okay, but also, this is why this is important when it comes down to ball handling. All right, as you can see, the ball handling on this build is can get up to 78. The speed with ball can get to 77. Okay. Now, why is something like that important? Because if you get to 95, which essentially that's what these stats would represent, you getting a build to 95. If you get a build to 95, you can get 2 more points that'll get you to that tier to unlock pro dribble moves, right? Now, we're going to see a lot of 6'8" builds out there, which hopefully means that whatever the park or, you know what I'm saying, rec style ball play is, hopefully that means we get rid of a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, running from, you know what I'm saying, games because of size mismatches. Like, you don't have no center, so you don't want to go up against a team with a center. I can understand not wanting to go up against 2 centers. I don't mind doing it because I challenge myself all the time, you know, like the hell with, I'm gonna go out there and take a L, but I'm not gonna run from it. So enough about that. So those 2 categories, shooting and playmaking, the fact that now you guarantee that you can create a 6'8" build that can have a 90 mid-range shot. You know what that means for a lot of people, even a guy like myself. Y'all know me, I don't do a lot of shooting. You know what I'm saying? I prefer to finish inside, but having the ability, if done right, depending on how point allocation will work and the system put in play, I can have a build that has a high 80s 3-point shot, high 80s mid-range shot, great pass accuracy, great ball handling, great speed with ball, right? And since we know that these builds will cap out at 95, and most likely the fluctuation system is making a return for next gen, unless they're going to do something a little bit different with it. If that's the case, then we're going to see things like another +4 added to your attribute. So even if you build this build right here with a 78 ball handling, you get to 97, you got an 80 ball handling. And technically, when you get it to 78, you'll have faster ball handling than you would normally expect. And that could mean that you could end up getting, you know, like gold ankle breaker and badges of that nature. So that's already, to me, a plus. Now, we look at other things, like other stats, like defense. Look at defense. The fact that you can have 87 interior defense and 86 perimeter defense. You remember in the past that you had to literally suffer in something drastically in order to build what you felt was an optimal build. And that's okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that all these stats can hit their maximum levels. No, it's just the fact that I can sit up here and say, I don't want to add no post control to my man, right? That's essentially, I can leave that at 25. Okay. That's essentially a whole series of points that I can use. Let's say I'm not the guy who like to do standing dunks. I do driving dunks, right? And I don't want to add nothing to my driving dunks. I mean, my standing dunks. That's a whole, 25. That's a whole series of points that I can now use somewhere else. Then you got things like when it comes down to it, you can look at it and say, okay, but I do want to be able to be a good interior defender. I want to be able to be a good perimeter defender. I want to be able to get some steals. Okay, I want to be able to contest shots. The fact that you can get a 90 shot block, right? This looks like a lockdown build or a two-way finisher, right? But for real, if you spend those points and allocate those points just right, you could essentially effectively create you a build that can do a little bit of everything. Now, I know I'm all over the place, but literally just take time to think about it. And when you get a chance, like I said, go to Twitter, check out the NBA 2K Pro-Am League account. Give them a follow, because quite frankly, they shared this little image. I wanted to share it with you guys. I wanted to talk about it because it is important to understand just how much freedom that we're going to be given. And now that freedom is going to come at a caveat. We know it's going to come at a caveat. And here's the caveat right here. That remember, you can't max out all of these attributes, but at least now you get to choose what will you rather take a hit on. Okay. So if I want to sit up here and say, all right, I don't plan on going for putback dunks. So I'm not going for offensive rebounding, right? I might give myself a little bit of it to give myself a chance, but I won't add nothing to offensive rebounding, right? Now, if you want to be a complete perimeter defender, you can have things like perimeter defense, steals, blocks. Those things right there will make you a great perimeter defender. Okay, you wouldn't need to add offensive rebounding or defensive rebounding. Having that amount of control, because as you see in the MyPLAYER Builder video sample, they show you that it looks like every attribute starts off at 25, which means effectively that means that our overall is no longer going to be 60. It feels like our overall is going to now start at 25, but it actually begs a different question. If our overall is no longer going to be like, okay, these are where these going to start at, does that mean that when we build our player, they then take it and boost certain attributes to start you off to make you an overall that doesn't feel like you shouldn't be playing basketball? So let me give you an example of what I mean. There was a point in time back in I think Xbox 360 days and everything where you started off as a 25. Like you started off as a 30 overall. If you don't remember that, it's okay. It's been a long time. And hell, even in last generation, and like 2K14, 2K15, 2K16, you didn't start off like at a 60 overall, right? Because it wasn't until It wasn't until 2K18 that the 60 overall was a cap level that was used to create unlocks and unlock tiers and everything. You remember that? So when we take into all that news and all that information, effectively they could go one way and you can start off at a 25 overall, which means that we could be going back to one of those things in the past of 2K14 where upgrading your man at the beginning is not going to feel like extremely expensive. Like it'll literally probably cost you something maybe around like 10-20k to get from 60, no, to get from the bottom all the way up to maybe a 75, and that's if we don't start at 60. Okay, some of you might think that that's going to be taking some time, but hey, give you a piece of advice. We know that most likely this game is going to be a little broken when it drops, when it come down to server issues and everything like that. But they did say that things like VC transfer over. So if I was y'all, what I would be doing is I would be out there grinding right now, grinding my career, grinding park games, not spending your VC. We are 2 weeks away from the release of the game on next gen. Don't spend your VC. Let your VC stack. So for that way, when you have that 200k VC that you're supposed to be getting with the game, you'll also have whatever VC you stacked up on your account to go along with it. So take my advice on that, and then hopefully that works out for you, so that way you got a little extra VC to guarantee play around with, because it's still some things we don't know. There was also a piece of information that kind of stands out to me just a little bit, and I saw it in the screenshot, and I also saw it in the MyPLAYER Builder. If you remember in the past, for the MyPLAYER Builder for the past few years, at the top of the screen it would say like MyPLAYER Builder, but that was it. Like it would say MyPLAYER Builder. This time it says MyPLAYER Builder, and then it's got this little X, and then it's got this NBA logo, and then it says NBA. So when in the past, when they've talked about the MyPLAYER Builder, right? Go with me on this one a little bit, because this could be 2K dropping a nugget right in clear sight. In the past, when they've talked about the MyPLAYER Builder, they literally showed you like each little page of it all the way to the end. So that way you can see, what the MyPLAYER Builder looks like in the whole process, right? Just to show you, okay, you'll have to go through about 5 or 6 pages in total of information. But the one page that we haven't seen so far is, of course, the page where we enter our name, things like that. We've seen now this page where we enter our body settings. We've seen the page where we make adjustments to the attributes. We've seen the page where we choose the takeovers. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, maybe we saw those because in the last gameplay blog they were talking about takeovers and the MyPLAYER Builder, right? Now they still say that there's more information that they haven't dropped and they haven't talked about, but maybe this was 2K's way of low-key showcasing the fact that you would actually have a possibility of creating a WNBA player and playing a WNBA career. Now I know some of you guys might not like it. To me, I'm always about hooping when it come down to it. I don't give a rat's ass who you are. I play this game with my sister all the time, and we go out there with one goal in mind, and that is the ball out. And I love the fact of when each person playing a game can get their own representation in a video game. The closer that my sister and I can get to where she can create a build that she, that's why she played live as well, because she was able to, create her a female, and she felt that was more representative of her. And I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I like that aspect. I like games that include, all those little things, because even though for some it doesn't seem important, for others it does, and that's where we should be always going toward. I know I just kind of gave y'all a little rant at the end and everything like that, but that's just how I see that information. So the fact that now we got this thing that says the MP Builder up at the top, but it also has this little X. Okay, that's an X. Like, you can look at that closely and everything like that. It don't make no image. That's an X. So it's a MyPLAYER Builder, then it says X, then it says NBA. So I kept thinking in the future that there would most likely be a way that they would do it where you can create a WNBA MyPLAYER and it would balance it out. But maybe on the next blog, because we're gonna get more information over the next. We got 2 weeks to go, so this week should be a pretty busy week, a really hectic week when it comes down to news. And so we're gonna be keeping our eyes open and our foot on the pulse to try to keep the news right there in front of you. I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but that was just some thoughts I had on this image. Like I said, shout out to the NBA 2K Pro-Am League account on Twitter. Shout out to 2K Insider and also 2K Intel. Like I said, I follow these guys mainly because they drop nuggets of information that I look at and say, wow, that would be pretty cool. And you know, they haven't really been wrong. I will say that. Like, they dropped some bangers that really make you say, yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes on what they're doing. So make sure you go over there on Twitter, show them some love and everything, because like they keep us informed when 2K doesn't, and 2K got us, you know, chomping at the bits looking for just a little piece of information to talk about. But we got more basketball we're gonna be talking about in the next few videos. We got more content coming out. It's gonna be a busy week for us. So make sure you hit the notification bell if you want to keep up with what's going on in the world of 2K. Also on the channel, new games and old games and things like that. And let me know how you feel down in the comment below when it comes down to the, not just the possibility of, you know, WNBA players, but the ultimate overall grand scheme of creating your MyPLAYER and the amount of details that you can put into it. Okay, so, and also, man, you can always hit me up in the comments and let me know if there's something you want my opinion on when it comes down to it. I'm an opinionated person, just like everybody has an opinion. I always love listening to it. Share your opinions with me in the comments. To me, there is no such thing as a stupid opinion, because it's an opinion for a reason. It's how you think about it, how you process it, and you just never know. You might open my eyes to something I don't see. Like I said, stay tuned for more basketball content we got coming out throughout the week. We're going to talk a little bit about live. Okay, some of y'all might not give a rat's behind about that, but I do. And I want to talk to y'all about live later on in the week. This your boy Ju King the Boss. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.